Hi, this is Joe Rabil from Rabil Stock Research with your Daily 5 today. For the past 30 years, I've provided stock research and consulting to institutional money managers. The goal of my research is to help provide stock ideas that have the potential for strong performance over the intermediate and longer term time horizons. At the end of the segment, I will offer a special to StockCharts TV viewers for a subscription to my research. But before we do that, let's get into today's Daily 5. And let's just start. What I want to do this time, I have 4 charts up as I always do. In the bottom left, I have a monthly chart. Bottom right is the weekly. Upper right is a daily, and then I do a different chart up on the left, which is another weekly chart. I like to look at stocks in multiple time frames, and I like to use the exact same indicators on each time frame. And then once you understand how to look at trend and momentum in a single time frame, you can then apply it to multiple ones. So, but I want to look at this chart in the upper left for a second and just explain what I'm doing here. The big thick green line is the 18-month moving average overlaid onto the weekly chart. So I use a 72-week. It does a very good job of representing what the 18-month would look like on a monthly chart. And then this purple line is actually the 18-week. So what I've got, and I look at the 18 on each time frame as doing a very good job of representing the trend for that time frame. And so I've got an 18-week and an 18-month together, and I can see basically 2 time frames, the intermediate term and the longer term time frames represented on this chart along with price. And then along the bottom, I've got a relative strength line of the price of the stock relative to the S&P. So I like using this as an additional criteria just to see. It gives you a really good perspective. You can see on this Keycorp, which is our first stock for today, that the intermediate term trend is very strong. This purple line basically rising at a pretty strong rate, and then the longer term trend has turned around after a big V bottom. And so it gives you a pretty good idea of the how much risk you have. So if we were to break the intermediate term line here, you would look for support from the longer term line. And so I think it does a really nice job of just representing what's taking place. So if we look at this, like on the bottom chart, bottom left on the monthly, we made this monstrous run off the low after consolidating for a while, finally getting through 12.5 on Keycorp, and went straight up to a new high. And then last month we had a pause month, and it was a pretty healthy looking month. There wasn't much in the way of distribution from what I can tell, and it's doing it right at the breakout level. And so if we look at the weekly chart on the right here, we can see, again, dynamic move to the upside with confirming ADX. The blue line is the ADX line, showing really nice confirmation. And now we're pausing right at the breakout area. So I'd love to see this actually spend a little bit more time consolidating here and letting the moving averages catch up a little bit more. But the overall pattern looks good. And as I go through and look at a lot of the regional banks, I think they look pretty attractive. There's a lot of stocks in the regional bank area that look very similar. The charts look pretty similar like this. And I think it's an area that does want to continue to lead for now. Let's go on to our next chart. IART. And the dynamics of this are pretty obvious when we look at the monthly chart. It is a long-term continuation pattern because if you think about it, we had a big sideways move and broke out in early 2015 and ran up, and then we've gone sideways. And now, again, we've made a really strong move, and we're sort of pausing at the breakout area. And if we go and look at what's taking place on the weekly chart, you have this kind of gyrating action moving sideways, but then we get this dynamic move to a new high. And notice how it's pausing in an orderly fashion by just going sideways. And now it's caught up to the 18-week line, and it's holding the breakout area. So I find that to be pretty attractive. There is improving signs of momentum. And, again, overall conditions here are good with improving relative strength. Let's go on to our next stock, which is ODP. And so this is more of a basing pattern. It really can be seen on this chart. Look at this longer term weekly chart. You can see how we made this kind of dropping move all the way down into 2018, move sideways, and now we're starting to emerge out of here. And I like the way this pattern is developing. I like the fact that the relative strength is starting to kick in. We have a low ADX condition on the monthly where ADX is below 25 and has been for a very long time. And then if you go over to the weekly, we're actually starting to see the ADX improve after being low for a period of time. So it's the type of thing where when I look at the two time frames together, I like to find stocks that have been kind of dormant for a while and now are starting to come to life. And the ADX on the lower time frame or the weekly is the one that's going to start to kick in and really show the strength first. And so, again, really nice breakout pattern and then pull back to the 18-week, which is rising above a rising 40-week. So it's a nice combination there. I think it's a stock we want to keep watching. Surprisingly, now I'm looking at an energy stock, and the thing is that the reason why I say surprising is that these things were sort of left for dead not 6 months ago, and now we're starting to see a lot of improvement in the overall patterns taking place. I thought Hess was really impressive because if we look at this on a long-term chart, most of the energy stocks not only took out these lows, they broke and dropped pretty dramatically below these levels, historically speaking. And yet this stock refused to take out support and now is all the way up and testing the highs. So I don't think this would take very much to get this going. And again, on a weekly chart, we're starting to see the improvement on the momentum characteristics. So we are sort of looking at this area here around 70. It's trying to get through. It's definitely a resistance zone. It dates back to 2015 where it's been resistance. But like I said, when you look at this on a relative basis to what energy is doing, this is a pretty impressive name. Just the fact that it's holding its ground at the 70 area and not giving back a whole lot, I think is a really good sign. Let's go to our last chart here. And I do like to look at some stocks and give, what I would consider to be a little bit of an early signal. So I do think this is on the early side, but I want to look at this on a monthly chart and say we've made a really strong move to the upside that peaked out in 2019, and now we've gone through this long correction phase, and the 18 has come down to the 40. They've kind of met up on the monthly chart, and the MACD, which was severely overbought in 2019, has worked off this condition and come down pretty close to the zero line. And so, when I see that, I want to go down to the lower time frames and look and see if we're starting to see any signs of improvement. And so what I see is low ADX on a monthly chart, low ADX on a weekly chart, and low ADX on the daily. On the daily chart, we're breaking out of this 150 area, and we're starting to see green DI, which represents the strength of the buyers, moving up and starting to cross above the 25 level and hold. So again, I think this is on the early side. It's not the type of thing that's going to break out and just take off and go straight to 200 in the next month. But I would be on the watch for this, because if this does emerge out of this area, it's a type of stock that could be a really good stock for a long period of time. It's kind of been ignored. It really has been an underperformer. But again, I'm starting to see signs that it looks like it wants to come to life. So that's your Daily 5. I hope you enjoyed this segment. You can contact me through LinkedIn, or you can find my research on rabilstockresearch.com, or you can certainly contact me on email. That's listed above. And then in addition to that, I have on my website, if you go to rabilstockresearch.com/services for the monthly individual package, if you use a coupon code StockCharts, you just type in StockCharts into the coupon area, you will receive 2 months of my research for $50. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed it. Have a great trading day, and I'll see you next time.
Hey guys, Dave Keller here with StockCharts.com. Thanks so much for watching our video. If you enjoyed it, and we hope you did, hit the like button right below. Also, we have so much new content every day. Consider subscribing to the channel. Just hit the subscribe button in the video or right below. Thanks for watching. Stay safe. Have a fantastic day.